Welcome to the Create with Katrina Julia show by Fit Life Creation, where we talk all the things on wellness, faith, marketing, business, and travel to create a life and business you love. I've been there, friend. I've walked from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, and bondage to freedom, along with transformation in every area of my life. I'm right here with you, walking along on my own path to creating. So tune in so that you learn how to create a life and business you love, hands-on. Let's create it. Welcome to a recap of 2022 and what I am celebrating. So if you didn't yet, definitely check out because you'll see for yourself the 2022 vision that I cast. And what amazed me and surprised me and just, I guess, reaffirmed me or gave me peace, which I often reflect on having peace from within based on the eternal and not the external. But at the same time, it is amazing to see when things are happening externally that you envisioned or desired or dreamed of. And as I went through this exercise myself, I experienced that. And I highly recommend that as you wrap up 2022 and walk into 2023, that you reflect on 2022 and what worked, what didn't, and how you're going to transform that, and that you cast a vision for 2023. Speaking of, after this episode, I am going to share what now, what next. And then coming up, I will have a blog and a show on 2023 vision. So you can absolutely join me on that and go through that exercise as well. And think about joining my ongoing membership and or my ongoing challenges as you jump into 2023 for a new year, a new you. So I'm sharing some highlights as I'm wrapping up 2022, and definitely get on my email list if you haven't yet, because I share all kinds of incredible content to create and transform a life and business you love. So number one is the impact. Over 100,000 plus lives impacted through media like this show, through my blog, through platforms, helping people get healthy, make money, and build brands. Number two, on a greater impact with content, over 1 million people were impacted. For example, on one of the platforms alone in community, we have over 300 million in reach. And I launched influencer marketing this year and online experiences and programs and some more exciting impacts coming up. So was one of those where it's over 300 million in reach and personal reach of over 100,000 as well. Speaking of reach, both online and in person, I ended up traveling to over 9 countries this year. I had press trips to Panama and wonderful, the travel conference, seeing family again after 2+ years in Portugal. You can check out my top 10 travel guides on the blog and on the show if you haven't yet, and experiencing a Virgin Voyages cruise during my birthday month. Speaking of global travel and impact and taking leaps of faith and aligned and decisive and disciplined action, I also submitted to being a Chief Eats Officer with Marriott Bonvoy. I haven't heard back yet. I also submitted to being a Swimsuit International Rookie of the Year they are still accepting submissions. I just submitted and posted my post on my Instagram at Katrina Julia Fit, so you can check that out and the network that you have to submit on. And I submitted 2 Virgin Voyages for being part of their happenings crew, possibly running retreats to help create and scale what you love with freedom on the ship, and for influencer marketing and management. So you can see where I'm tracking and celebrating both the daily disciplines like the email list, like the blogs, like the shows, like the launches, but also incredible leaps of faith as well. And speaking of, profits had a over 1100% increase in income this year. And focusing on aligned and disciplined and decisive action in finances, both in decreasing overspending and in increasing income. And I've been tracking since July both the business to business proposals and submissions that I've done, like the leaps of faith that I just mentioned. And also, alongside that, looking at cash flow and what's happening with cash flow as well on my own path towards financial freedom. And speaking of profits, development of what's next is also the monthly memberships and challenges that I mentioned that have been in play, but leading to content and creations on creator to CEO, with things like showcasing the dashboards that I've developed on tools like ClickUp, and developing with ease from business to business to consumer with things like the creator to CEO to lifestyle brand like a boss, a 12-week program. And also along those lines, the influencer marketing and management, you can definitely check out that on the website with the courses and chief marketing officer type programs online, and showcases of how to be that creator to CEO and what that looks like and more. Speaking of community and impact, direct impact of over 50,000 people with social channels, with blog and show. So the other one was what I was referencing was reach. So the reach through platforms, the reach through communities, the reach through different avenues that they share. For example, the show is on iTunes, is on Spotify, etc. But direct impact is through my direct personal channels and brands and creators in our online and live programs, press features that I was selected for, like Kajabi, like Subkid, like book retreats, and more. Joining ATL Girl Gang since I've been back in Atlanta since May of 2022. That was part of my vision for 2022, and that happened as well. Becoming the vice president of marketing on a voluntary basis for the Buckhead Business Association, finishing B School, enrolling in Social Curator and being a consistent contributor and member, and then vision realization of over 90% of the vision that I set up the beginning of 2022. So yes, some of the things did not happen. However, what I'm learning more and more and more is focusing on what did happen and celebrating what did happen, and showcasing that, as opposed to having fear, shame, or guilt over what did not happen. So stay tuned for the next episode where I'm sharing what now, what next, and highlights of vision, discipline, habits, and some amazing episodes both on the show and on the blog that you will want to check out ASAP. So leave a review on the show and include your handle and or your website, and I will shout you out. Tag me on stories at Katrina Julia Fit, at Fit Life Creation on Instagram, and I will reshare. And as always, friends, remember, create, transform, and inspire, because you are born to. Hey, you guys, I absolutely love Anchor. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Not to mention, it is free. I've used Anchor for over a year now. I've been podcasting for over 3 years, produced over 400 shows, and I can definitely say I cannot see myself going anywhere else. Anchor distributes your show for you so that it can be heard on Spotify, on Apple, on Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listeners. So that is also something that is totally different and that I did not experience before. There's tools that are built in that literally make it like podcasting for dummies. You can, not that you're a dummy, you're not a dummy, I'm not a dummy, none of us are dummies, but I just think of those books like such and such thing right for dummies. You can record, edit your show right from your phone, right from your computer. And you can even add any song from Spotify directly into your episodes. It's truly limitless possibilities for what you may create, whether it's music, your own show, or something the world's never ever heard of before. And not to mention, you guys, definitely go and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And keep in mind that when podcasting or starting your show, some things that I've learned to create your own show is that you definitely want to be yourself and share things that you're passionate about. Like I share about faith, wellness, business, and travel, and it's 100% me. So what are you waiting for? Go create your own show with Anchor now. All the free chats on faith, wellness, money, marketing, business, and travel so you create a life and business already. Head on over to the blog, the podcast, and the freebies to jumpstart your transformation. If you're ready to dive into the online courses, the live events, or the retreat, and if you want to create with our community on an even deeper level, definitely check out our internships, our influencer collaborations, management, and brand engagement. Let's create it.